What is going on, individuals of thy YouTube? And a big shout out to the college football fans around the world. And also, let's give a thumbs up to the Pitt Panther Nation, the Pitt Panther fan base, the Panther Den, whatever the fuck you want to call it. What is up, everybody in the YouTube stratosphere? I am TALK-IS-PITT. You guys are tuning into the #1 sports channel on YouTube that will eat, breathe, and shit everything Pitt. Before I get started in this video, I really have to blow my nose. All right, everybody. I do apologize. My nose, my allergies are really bad transitioning from summer to fall. And it gets even worse when it goes from winter to spring, especially when it keeps going up and down in the temperature range. But welcome, everybody. Welcome to the fucking ACC review / preview and prediction show. Also, ladies and gentlemen, this phone has been acting very stupid, but I guess that's what you get when you only pay $60. So if at all you guys hear feedback that is too much for you, please do let me know. I'm going to go upstairs and get my Bluetooth headphones real quick, just in case. Honestly, I should have already done that, but I just remembered I did not charge them. So I'll be right back, everybody. Please hold on 1 second. All right, I do apologize for that. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and germs. Well, we're going to get right into this video. We're obviously going to start off with the review section, or the review section of this video before we get on to this week's games and whatnot. a lot of crazy shit happened last week as far as who beat who and what happened in order for that to happen. We're going to start off with Syracuse and UNLV. Now, I did not watch any highlights of this game. I don't know why it slipped my mind. But Syracuse scrapes by UNLV 44-41. And I actually had picked UNLV to win this game. I did not think Syracuse was going to win. I thought if Stanford could beat Syracuse, so should Las Vegas, the Rebels. But the Rebels fell short on their own field against Syracuse. 44-41. Miami, probably one of the most controversial games this year, and I could pick a couple of games that have happened so far in the 7 weeks of college football that this team should have won and didn't. It seems like Miami, though, is at the center of controversial endings when it comes to their college football games. Miami beats California 39-38. Now, if you thought the bad referees in this game were really the deciding factor, they weren't. I have to admit, they were not. I did actually watch a good portion of this game. And really what cost California this game, 1, turnovers, 2, bad offensive line play, and 3, which is the most important reason why California lost, is because they blew a 20-something point lead. Kind of sounds familiar. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Cincinnati sucks. Anyway, Miami stays undefeated by beating California 39-38. To be honest, that game was a hell of a lot closer than I thought it would be. Clemson. Now, this game irritated the hell out of me because I don't bet very often, and I bet the over on this game, but Clemson beats Florida State 29-13. Is that really all Clemson could score against the worst fucking team in the ACC? I mean, Florida State is 100% the worst team in the ACC. That's actually funny. Florida State, y'all deserve this 100%. Everything that is happening to you guys right now, you deserve. It's karma. Karma is a bitch. Before I talk about more having to do with karma, let me blow my nose again. Fucking asshole. All right, sorry about that, everybody. Really fucking bad allergies. Florida State, this honestly, whatever is happening to you guys when it comes to karma and the fact that you suck is 100% on you, and it is funny. It is 100% funny. People are like, you wouldn't wish that on your worst enemy. Yes, I would. And then people are like, well, what if your rival in college football ends up losing the rest of their games? I would laugh. People were like, well, that would invalidate your win. But didn't we win? Didn't Pitt beat West Virginia? Yes. That's all that matters. What West Virginia does after that, I don't give a damn. Fuck West Virginia, except the people I like. Clemson beats Florida State 29-13. And I honestly think Clemson's more capable of scoring way more points against the worst team in the ACC than what they did. And that makes me believe that Clemson is 100% beatable in the conference. Moving on to SMU versus Louisville. SMU won that game by one possession, 34-27. And it seems like a lot of teams in the ACC this week or last week scored 30 or more points. SMU beats Louisville 34-27. I also did not watch this game at all. I just didn't have an interest in it. I think I did pick Louisville to win that game. Let me check. I'm almost positive I picked Louisville to win that game. Yeah, I did pick Louisville to win that game. Where the hell? I need to get another binder or a notebook because once college basketball season starts, I need a separate notebook. Where the fuck's my page? Oh, there it is. So, anywho, I picked Louisville to win that game, and they lost. So that's not a good look for me. SMU started off the season looking like they're going to be the worst team in the ACC. They're not. They're one of the best. And nobody can deny that. Now, you can make several arguments on why they're not one of the best, but also at the same time, guys, they're exceeding expectations. Wake Forest beats NC State, or should I say upsets NC State 34-30. NC State, how can you guys lose to Wake Forest? Wake Forest, they're also one of the worst teams in the conference and of all of college football. I mean, you could pick 50 other teams who are worse than Wake Forest, and if they are worse than Wake Forest, that's pretty sad. I didn't see this. I did not see NC State at all, even with the injury to Grayson McCall, which I think he got injured in that game, if I'm not mistaken. NC State losing to Wake Forest was fucking hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Preston says SMU and Pitt going to be a ranked matchup is something not a lot of people expected. No, they did not. I didn't expect Pitt to be ranked. I actually thought they would finish the non-conference undefeated. I was right. I was right about that. What I was wrong about is them losing to North Carolina. I 100% thought Pitt would lose to North Carolina, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. Where were we? Oh, yeah. Wake Forest and NC State. So Wake Forest beating NC State is an upset because NC State, if I'm not mistaken, and I forgot to write the over-unders down on this week's thing. NC State was a 5.5-point favorite with the over-under at 54.5. They didn't cover the spread, but they did take the over. They did go over. Yeah, exactly, John. I really thought Pitt would lose to North Carolina. So Wake Forest almost covers. If they would have scored one more point or two more points, then that would have been good for them. But Wake Forest beat NC State. Nevertheless, a win is a win, and you've got to give them credit for it. You have to give them credit for that. Virginia Tech beats Stanford by triple digits. 31-7. When Stanford beat Syracuse, I actually thought Stanford could make a little bit of noise within the ACC. Ever since they beat Syracuse, it's gone right down the shitter. And it's funny because I call Pittsburgh Shitsburg because it is a fucking shithole. I mean, I don't live in Pittsburgh. I live 40 minutes outside of the city, almost in another county. I didn't see this game at all. A lot of last week's games highlights I just didn't watch because I ended up getting sucked into the Vanderbilt and Alabama game, which was hands down the best college football game I have watched all year. You got a team who had no business playing Alabama, beating them in Nashville, Tennessee. To be honest, I'm not going to lie. I originally thought Vanderbilt was in Texas. The reason why I thought Vanderbilt was in Texas because I know absolutely nothing about Vanderbilt. I know nothing about Vanderbilt. Pitt's never played them in football. At least I don't think they have. I would actually have to check that. Oh, definitely, Preston. That Vanderbilt quarterback won me over that game. But it was a great game. Virginia Tech beating Stanford 31-7. Really not much to talk about there, and especially since I didn't watch the highlights, who cares? Georgia Tech beating Duke by 10, 24-14. Duke coming off of an emotional win over North Carolina. I didn't realize how, I knew Duke and North Carolina obviously are in the same state. I didn't realize how close they actually were to each other. They're closer to each other than Pitt and West Virginia. They're closer to each other than Pitt and Penn State. Hell, they're closer to each other than Pitt and Cincinnati. It takes 33 minutes to drive from Chapel Hill down to Durham. To me, if two Division I college football programs are that close, the rivalry needs to be really intense. And I'm not saying it isn't intense. I know for a fact it is, but I don't think that rivalry is as intense as it should be. Okay, so Preston says we have never played Vanderbilt in football. So yeah, Preston, I know nothing about Vanderbilt. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. I'm not going to sit there and really try to dig in a team that Pitt has never played, like Alabama. We've never played Alabama. We would get our ass kicked. I know that for a fact. Georgia Tech beats Duke 24-14, and let me see. I'm positive I picked Georgia Tech to win that game. Actually, no. I picked Duke to win. I swore I picked Georgia Tech. Oh well. I gotta live with the consequences of my actions, I guess. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm getting a phone call. Sorry about that, y'all. So I was wrong about that. That's another pick I was wrong about. Let's see how many picks last week I was actually wrong about. Okay, I was wrong about UNLV, wrong about Louisville. It seems like both. It seems like quite a few teams are on buys this week, actually, in the ACC. Boston College is on a buy. SMU's on a buy. Duke is on a buy. God damn. Miami's on a bye. So there's 5 or more ACC teams that are on a bye week this week. I think my neighbor's upstairs drunk again. But the thing is, I may have to either mute or delete the live stream. My neighbor's a drunk racist. And I live in one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the entire state. It's not an attitude you want to have in this town. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to week 7. This isn't going to be a very long review recap show. I don't like dragging these shows out. I try to keep my live streams to an hour 15 minutes. I try to keep my videos under 6 minutes. We're going to move on to week 7. This is going to be the preview and prediction show. Clemson will Baylor Man, welcome, Baylor Man. Welcome to the live stream. I think we will, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. Oh, I forgot. I don't know how the hell I forgot. Pitt beats North Carolina for the first time in Chapel Hill, not for the first time ever, but for the first time in Chapel Hill, 34-24. Eli Holstein God, I thank you for Eli Holstein. He is the best Jewish quarterback. He is Jewish. He is the best Jewish quarterback known to man, or at least the quarterback that I know is Jewish. I don't know if there's been anybody else. Thank you, God, or whatever goddamn entity that Jews answer to. Eli Holstein has had another 300-yard game. There's only been one game where Eli Holstein did not eclipse 300 yards, and that was against Youngstown State. The reason why he didn't is because he got pulled in the third quarter, and Nate Yarnell took over. He could have very well easily surpassed 300 yards passing. Well, he technically, in the Youngstown State game, he technically did gain over 300 yards. It just a lot of that, or I shouldn't say a lot of that, a good chunk of that came from running the ball when he had 93 rushing yards. Eli Holstein, and I will go to my grave saying this, more like the crematorium because I want cremated. Eli Holstein will go down in history of being a much better quarterback than Kenny Pickett ever was or will be. And I love Kenny Pickett, but I'm also a realist when it comes to his accomplishments. First of all, it took him 5 years to become a competent quarterback in college football. Now, better late than never, I guess, but this wouldn't have happened. Pitt would not have won the ACC if Kenny Pickett was not saved by COVID. Exactly, Preston. Exactly. Eli Holstein is playing just like, if not better, than how West Virginia fans said Garrett Green was going to play. West Virginia fans hyped Garrett Green up to be this Heisman candidate. They thought West Virginia could go to the playoffs. Now, can West Virginia still compete for the Big 12? Absolutely. I do think they may actually end up making it to the Big 12. But make no mistake about it, West Virginia, you're not better than Pitt. Your quarterback's not better than ours. The only thing that you guys do better is the offensive line and the defensive line. Your receivers suck. Your running backs aren't as good as you think. And to be honest, if you want to sit there and call, thank you, Preston, for pointing that out. If you want to sit there and call the ACC bad, look at your conference. Your conference, every team that was picked to do this, that, and the third is the worst fucking team. You guys are just like the ACC if you're going to sit there and say the ACC is this, the ACC is that. There's no competition in the ACC. Well, where's the competition in the Big 12? Anywho, ladies and germs, fuck West Virginia. They're not a part of this recap show. So fuck them. We're going to move on to week 7 officially and finally, everybody. Clemson will play Wake Forest. Georgia Tech plays UNC. Stanford will play Notre Dame. Fuck Notre Dame. Louisville plays Virginia. Syracuse will play NC State. And Pitt will play California. And yes, Preston, that is 100% correct. They don't got Texas and Oklahoma to carry the conference anymore. And it's funny, Texas won the Big 12 championship on their way out the door. They took the Big 12 trophy out the door with them to the SEC. Ooh, excuse me. And guess what? They're undefeated in the SEC. If I'm not mistaken, this year. We're going to start off with Clemson and Wake Forest. Speaking of out the door fire, Dave Aranda. Baylor, man, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know too much about Baylor. I'm assuming that's your head coach. Clemson is a 20.5-point favorite over Wake Forest. I do think Clemson will cover. The over-under is 61.5. I do think Clemson will cover, and to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Clemson scores 60 points, but I also would be very surprised if they don't score 60 points. This is a team that Clemson should actually cover the spread themselves and not have to rely on Wake Forest to help them out covering the spread. All right, Baylor, man, that's what I thought. Baylor, to be honest, Baylor, man, hold on. I'm in my basement, obviously, and the sewage pipe is right fucking there. My landlord had to put a breather on it because the neighbor upstairs kept clogging the fucking toilet. With that being said, because her sewage pipes run into my basement. And to be honest, I don't give a shit that I film in my basement. I've been doing it for 3 years. I think I would have gotten over that by now. I do think Clemson is going to come out of that game victorious, covering the spread themselves. I do think they will be able to cover the spread themselves. Georgia Tech will go on the road to North Carolina to try to extend their lead in the past few, or should I say, they're going to try to extend their streak in the past few games against North Carolina, because if I'm not mistaken, they've won like 3 or 4 straight against the Turd Heels. And the reason why I'm calling North Carolina the Turd Heels is because I have a lot of respect for Russ the Tar Heel over at the Tar Heel Huddle. But, brother, you're not better than Pitt. You need to get that out of your brain. If you were better than Pitt on paper or whatever the case may be, you would have won. People like to use their recruit rankings to say, oh, well, better on paper. Bro, that's just you saying you're a loser. That motorcycle tells me whoever's driving it has a small dick. Anywho, Russ from the Tar Heel Huddle, brother, I don't know you very well. I don't have anything really against you except the fact that you're delusional. I mean, I hate to say it, but you're delusional. North Carolina is not better than Pitt on paper or any goddamn metric. None. So, I mean, the fact that you actually thought North Carolina was going to beat Pitt shows that, one, you're a homer. Two, you don't think clearly when it comes to previewing and predicting North Carolina's schedule. Oh, damn, Baylor, man. I didn't know you guys had it that bad. But I'm going to move on from North Carolina. I do think Georgia Tech will win this game. Georgia Tech is a 4-point favorite. The over and under is 60.5. I'm going to bet the under on that game. And I do think this may be a low-scoring game, like a 28-21 victory for Georgia Tech. I'm going to take Georgia Tech and the points. Or I'm going to take, Georgia Tech and the points. I don't know if that's how you fucking say it. I don't know. I'm still learning how the spread works with college football. Like I said, I'm not the most knowledgeable college football fan, but I am not dumb either. Hey, Kitty, knock it off. I literally just fed you, you fat motherfucker. Here, go play with this piece of paper. Stanford at Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a 22.5-point favorite. The over and under is only, it's only 45.5. Wow, really? But then again, Notre Dame is not that good this year. They are not. Baylor, man, are you hearing any feedback on my end, like any static or anything of that nature? Do let me know, please. Because my viewer count keeps going up and down way too quickly, and I think that's the reason why. Stanford at Notre Dame. Like I said, Notre Dame is a 22.5-point favorite with the over-under 45.5. I'm obviously taking Notre Dame in this one, but I'm also cautioning Notre Dame, don't take Stanford lightly. Don't do it. They were on a bye week last week. They're rested. Or they weren't on a bye week. They lost to Virginia Tech. But I do believe Stanford is capable of shocking the world. I just don't think they're that good of a team. Because you can be a bad team and win a game you're not supposed to. Hey, Pitt knows all about that. West Virginia, 2007. Pat McAfee. Notre Dame's going to win this game. There's really no point of talking about it. I'm going to save that game for last. Louisville at Virginia. Louisville is only a 7.5-point favorite over the Cavaliers. Virginia has exceeded my expectations. I only had them winning 3 games, might even 2 games when I did my preview and prediction. But Virginia has 100% exceeded my expectations. Do I think they're going to make a bowl game? Absolutely. Is it going to be a mediocre, nobody cares about bowl game? Probably. Unless hell freezes over and they somehow win the ACC. Virginia will be playing Louisville on the road. I'm going to go with Virginia in this game. I'm going to go with Virginia. I think Virginia won't cover the amount of points that Louisville is predicted to win by. I think it will be less than that. I do think it will come down to a field goal. But I got to go with the Cavaliers in this one. I have to. I have to go with Virginia in this one. Virginia has exceeded my expectations. They have a decent quarterback, decent receivers, decent defense. I'm going with Virginia in this one. Syracuse versus NC State. This is a spread that I don't get. Syracuse is only a 3-point favorite over NC State. NC State isn't good. They just lost to Wake Forest. How is Syracuse only a 3-point favorite? I don't get that. Q's is going to win that game. It's going to be more than 3 points. I don't understand that that point spread. In the final game, which is a game I will be going to tomorrow, and I somehow forgot that. Pitt goes back home to Acrisure Stadium to take on California. Pitt has played California before. Pitt is a 3.5 point favorite. Let me check the history real quick versus California. Go away. Where is Winspedia? Okay, I'll just go to the university's website, to be honest. All right. All right. So Pitt and California have played before. Pitt leads the series 3-2. The last game, however, in 1966, California won by a score of 30-15. It has never lost to Cali at home, but they have a losing record at California. First matchup was in 1955 when Pitt won that game 27-7. But they are 3-2 in the 5 matchups. Largest margin of victory is 35-15. Yep. October 1st was the last time we played California in 1966. California has exceeded my expectations. Well, they haven't exceeded my expectations. They're at where I thought they would be. A lot of people thought that California would be at the bottom, and to be honest, I probably have picked them to be at the bottom. But when the season started, they looked like, okay, California may be, I don't want to say legit, but they're not going to be as bad as I thought they would be. The thing about California is they have a Jekyll and Hyde type of team. Now, their running back, I believe his name is Jaden Ott. I think that's his name. He's been injured a good bit of the season. And the weakness for California, the fuck she slammed that fucking door for? God fucking damn, lady. Put the fucking beer down. Fucking neighbor upstairs is a goddamn drunk. Every time she gets drunk, she slams the fucking door for no damn reason. It's honestly, it's gotten to the point where she slams it so damn hard she wakes me up in the middle of my sleep. And I'm not a light sleeper. I'm not a heavy sleeper, but I'm not a light sleeper either. So you still have to make a good amount of noise to wake me up. Anyway, Pitt versus California. I will be at that game tomorrow. Pitt is a 3.5 point favorite. And I do think Pitt will win this game. I'm going with my team to win this game. However, I'm going to be straight up. This game scares me. This game scares me. Because, first of all, Pitt's undefeated, which nobody thought they would be at this point. I thought they would have at least one loss by now. But Pitt is 5-0 with a conference win against North Carolina, when California has yet to win a conference game, if I'm not mistaken. They, like I said, have a very Jekyll and Hyde type of football team. I think their offense and defense are equal as far as talent level, which is also why I think both the defense and offense are Jekyll and Hyde. Offense, both Jekyll and Hyde. Defense, both Jekyll and Hyde. I don't know which version of California we're going to get. California leads the ACC and college football in interceptions, not takeaways, but interceptions. Their corner, whose name for whatever fucking reason just slipped my mind, leads all of college football with 5 interceptions. Eli Holstein is going to have to keep the ball away from him, because if he throws it anywhere near him, there's a good chance that that corner is going to come down and intercept the ball. Now, somebody asked me, how many interceptions would you give Eli before you start saying, okay, hey, you need to stop doing this? 7. I will give him 7 interceptions as long as he has at least 28 touchdown passes by the time the season is over. I will be okay with that. Noel Williams, Baylor man. Thank you very, William. Thank you very, William. Thank you very much, Baylor man. Noel Williams, Eli Holstein has to keep the ball away from him. I believe Pitt is still going to be able to pass the ball all over California. I do still believe they're going to be able to run the ball against there I go again. I do still believe they're going to be able to run the ball against California. The thing is, what I think is going to happen is I think California is going to get wore out because of the travel. They just landed in Pittsburgh not too long ago. Or they may be even still in the air, to be honest. I don't know when their flight left, and I don't know what airline they took. If they don't have a what do you want to call it? A private airplane to take them back and forth to the games. Do you know, Kitty? It says California sucks. Anywho. Oh, and California fans, you guys are the easiest people to trigger on Twitter, which is the reason why I'm even trolling you guys in the first place, because it's hilarious. You think I got mad, and I made you believe I got mad, and then you guys used that, not knowing that I'm trolling you. People know I love to troll. It was in my description on my Twitter at first, but then I wanted to be, I don't want to say more professional. I just didn't want that in my bio, and that would bring people away. I'm still going to call you a dumbass. I'm going to curse, and I'm probably even going to call you the R word. And the R word is retard. People are like, you shouldn't use that word. Your daughter has autism. I'm like, first of all, don't fucking speak about my kids. I get that you're upset that you don't like that word, and you may have kids who are of that of that incapability mentally. But the moment you talk about my kids, when I never talked about your kids, that's when you become an absolute hypocrite. Yes, my daughter does have autism, but she knows she has autism. Hell, she makes fun of it herself. Why? Because my daughter is just like me. She has to make fun of everything bad in the world, and that's how she copes. That's how I cope too. California fans are way too easy to be triggered, and I love it. West Virginia fans are the same exact way. I love it. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Pitt versus California. Pitt will win that game, and I do think Pitt will cover the spread beyond it. I do think Pitt will cover most of the over. I am taking the over in this game. I would like Pitt to just run all over California. I want California to be miserable flying back to Berkeley. But I'm a realist. I can see how this is considered an upset. One, Pitt is ranked. Two, California should not be taken lightly. I'm not taking them lightly. Like I said, I think it will be close in the first half, like all of Pitt's games have been, except the Youngstown State and Kent State game. Actually, that was close in the first half. I just don't see California being able to keep up with Pitt and the tempo. And just like Baylorman said right here, outside of, come on, there we go. Outside of Noel Williams, California's pass defense is very bad. I think Eli will be able to exploit that. I do think he might throw another interception in this game. But like I said, he's a freshman. Every game he goes into, he is nervous. He's even said that. Look, I'm a freshman. I'm nervous every time I go into a game. And the only time I don't become nervous is after I make a mistake, because I'm too worried about not making a mistake. And that's balls for a kid to admit. That's balls for him to admit. I just don't see California being able to keep up because of the travel, because of Pitt's offense. And California's offensive line is horrible. Mendoza, their quarterback, has given up 19 sacks on the year. 19. I just don't see them being able to. I think Pitt will win this game. People have asked me to give a score prediction. I don't like doing that, but I'm going to give one anyway. Pitt, 41. California, 20. That's how I think it's going to go. I think it's going to be close in the first half. Like, hell, maybe 17-17. California takes the lead going into the second half, because I have a feeling they're going to be the ones that get the ball in the second half. They score a field goal, and after that, they completely collapse. Completely collapse. For the third week in a row, they will blow a lead and lose. Man. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am glad everybody has stopped by on this live stream. Let me give some shout outs. We had John Kristovic, we had Preston Schultz, we had CJ, and then we had Baylorman. Baylorman sticking it out all the way to the end. Baylorman, absolutely respect you. You're one of the very few Big 12 fans that I get along with, because let's just face it, most of your not your fan base, but most of the Big 12 fan base is retarded. I'm sorry to say that. They're dumb because they're banking on the conference collapse of the ACC, not realizing it's not going to happen anytime soon. It's not going to happen until after 2036, and that's when I honestly believe teams will start leaving. Whether that's to go to the Big 12, the Big 10, or the SEC, or they create their own conference. I don't know how it's exactly going to play out, but I do believe after 2036, if they don't give a fair share of the revenue to all the teams are going to leave. But with that being said, Baylor man, everybody else in the chat who stopped by, much appreciated. I'm not the biggest, I'm not a big YouTuber on here that talks about sports, but I absolutely love and respect every single person that shows me respect, who trolls me, depending on who you're coming from, what fan base you're coming from, everybody who gives a like, a dislike, or even just a view by where you come in and then you leave, you know, like your dad. With that being said, everybody, I'm going to end the live stream right here. Going to the game tomorrow, I might do a little live stream beforehand, and then I'm going to hop on the 40-minute bus ride because I don't drive. I hate fucking driving. Hop on the 45-minute bus ride to town, then take the transit train to Actonshire Stadium that drops you off right in front of it. I love public transit because if I don't have to do something and I can get somebody else to do it for me, so be it. Much love, everybody. Good luck to everybody else who has games tomorrow, tonight, or yesterday. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow, either for a short live stream before I go to the game, or I will see you after the game, whether we lose or win. You're gonna see me tomorrow. Much love. Peace out. Oh, and fuck West Virginia.